You wake up one morning to headlines screaming about a new pandemic. Bird flu is back, and it's making people panic. You start to wonder, is my family at risk? Are we prepared? It's scary, isn't it? But most of what you've heard is either overblown or missing critical details. In this video, we're cutting through the noise. I'm here to give you the facts, breaking myths, the real risks, uncovering what's actually happening, and most importantly, how you can stay safe without fear ruling your life. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll feel informed, empowered, and ready to face anything. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. I'm Tuba, a biotechnologist with a passion for sharing the latest health research on diseases through my videos. I'm here to give you trustworthy, actionable information to help you improve your health and make confident and informed decisions. So what is bird flu? It's not just one disease, but a whole category of highly contagious infections in birds caused by influenza type of viruses. These viruses occur naturally in aquatic and migratory birds, and while that might sound harmless, it's anything but. Wild birds often carry these viruses in their intestines and respiratory tracts, spreading them through their saliva and droppings. Here's where it gets messy. When domesticated birds like chickens, ducks, and turkeys come into contact with these infected droppings, the virus jumps ship. Suddenly, a seemingly healthy bird can become the epicenter of an outbreak. Now let's dig deeper. Not all bird flu viruses are created equal. They're classified into two main types: low pathogenic avian influenza and highly pathogenic avian influenza. LPAI viruses, while still concerning, typically cause mild symptoms like ruffled feathers or a slight drop in egg production. They're like the sneaky cousin you don't notice at first. But HPAI viruses? That's a different story. These are the heavy hitters, the ones that wreak havoc on poultry farms, leading to severe illness and even death in birds. The economic and emotional toll of losing entire flocks is staggering, and the ripple effects don't stop there. Now, I can hear what you're thinking. Okay, Tuba, but can bird flu affect humans? The short answer? Yes. Bird flu is what we call a zoonotic disease, meaning it can spread from animals to humans. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just a bird problem, it's our problem too. When enough of the virus gets into a person's eyes, nose, or mouth, whether through inhaling virus particles in the air or touching contaminated surfaces, it can infect humans. A recent case in Missouri has rewritten what we thought we knew. A patient with underlying health conditions ends up in the hospital with flu-like symptoms. Tests suggest it's not the regular flu, so their sample gets sent to the CDC. The result? Bird flu. But here's the twist. This person had no known contact with infected animals. This changes everything. And while human-to-human transmission has been rare so far, don't breathe a sigh of relief just yet. The scary part is that if this virus mutates and becomes more easily transmissible between people, it could spark a pandemic unlike anything we've seen before. This isn't just science fiction. Remember the early days of COVID when everything seemed under control? That's exactly the kind of complacency we can't afford. Have you heard of cases like this before? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now you might be wondering what's next. Why are scientists scrambling to sequence the virus? The answer lies in the genetics. Determining the genetic sequence of this virus helps us understand how it compares to the strains affecting poultry, cows, and other mammals. In Missouri, there haven't been reports of bird flu among cattle, but poultry outbreaks are another story. By isolating the virus and studying its genetic makeup, researchers hope to uncover whether it has adapted to spread more easily. Stick around, because in a moment, I'll share what experts believe might have triggered this human infection, and it's not what you think. Okay, so how did this Missouri patient get infected? Public health expert Michael Osterholm suggests the patient could have contracted the virus from migratory birds. Late summer is prime migration season, meaning birds and their viruses are on the move. Another possibility? Raw milk. Although less likely, some believe it could have been a hidden carrier. Acquiring bird flu without direct animal contact raises concerns about the virus's evolution. If it's spreading without a clear link, the risk to humans might be greater than we thought. So, how would you know if bird flu has struck? The symptoms in humans are eerily similar to those of seasonal flu fever: cough, sore throat, muscle aches, but they don't stop there. Some people experience abdominal pain and diarrhea. If untreated, the infection can escalate into severe respiratory issues like pneumonia or acute respiratory distress syndrome. And this is where it gets truly frightening. The mortality rate for some strains of bird flu in humans has been alarmingly high. And here's a fascinating piece of history for you. Did you know the first case of the H5N1 virus in humans was detected in Hong Kong in 1997? That's right, over 2 decades ago. Since then, the virus has continued to evolve, and while we've managed to avoid a full-blown global pandemic so far, the risk remains. In fact, scientists warn that if the virus mutates to become more easily spread among humans, it could have catastrophic consequences. Let's talk about those factory farms for a moment. Have you ever wondered what it's like inside one of those places? Imagine tens of thousands of birds crammed into a single building, with barely enough space to move. The air is thick, the stress levels are high, and the conditions are anything but natural. It's no surprise that diseases like bird flu can spread in such environments. But here's the thing, backyard chickens don't live like that. They scratch in the dirt, bask in the sun, and live the kind of life a chicken was meant to live. That's why the risk of bird flu in backyard flocks is incredibly low. But here's where it gets tricky. The media doesn't always make this distinction. You might see headlines about bird flu outbreaks and think, that could be my flock. But take a closer look. Are they talking about factory farms, where thousands of birds are kept in unnatural conditions? Or are they talking about small, well-cared-for backyard flocks? Chances are, it's the former. And yet, the fear spills over into the backyard chicken community, leaving people anxious and uncertain. But you don't have to be. So, what can you do to protect your flock and your peace of mind? First, practice good biosecurity. This means keeping your chicken's living area clean, avoiding contact with wild birds, and watching for any signs of illness. If you're worried about avian influenza, there are plenty of resources available to help you learn how to minimize risk. But here's the most important thing: don't let fear control you. Because when you act out of fear, you're not just robbing yourself of joy, you're letting fear win. And we're not here to let that happen. Preventing bird flu starts with awareness and simple steps that anyone can take. First, avoid places like live poultry markets and farms where the virus is more likely to thrive. If you handle poultry products, ensure they're thoroughly cooked, no undercooked eggs or meat. Wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizers, and most importantly, stay vigilant. So what can you do right now? Start by sharing this video with friends and family, because awareness is the first step toward prevention. Have you ever been worried about bird flu? What steps are you taking to keep your flock safe? Share your thoughts in the comments.